Hi, my name is Narshid binti Ibrahim and I'm going to present my part, which is introduction. So basically, pesticide is a combination of English word pest, which means scourge, and Latin suffix cide, which means killer. As we all know, pesticides are very useful in agriculture field since they are used to kill certain organisms that can cause harm to mankind. So since the era of Mesopotamia, about 100 centuries ago, humans are suffered from diseases by accidentally taking poisonous food or food that was exposed to dangerous microorganisms. So in that era, it was very hard to maintain the quality of the food, which could affect the food supply to humans. People are dying because of poisoned food and some of them will starve themselves to avoid it, but unfortunately, it has caused another problem, an illness that came from the food poisoning. These problems need to be prevented in order to lessen the number of people affected by the illness that come from the food poisoning. So for your information, the Sumerians were the first to use sulfur compounds to control insects in the early of Mesopotamia in order to overcome the toxic effect of plants that may affect humans. So pesticides were also evaluated throughout the year and classified into 5 single phases. For the first phase, started before 1000, the phase of early pest management has been created and then followed by the use of plants, animals or minerals from 1000 to 1850. And then the third phase is the use of inorganic product and industrial byproduct, which were invented from 1850 until 1940. Next, they started to use a synthetic organic compound from 1940 to 1970, and lastly, in the current era, we are using lower risk synthetic organic compound to completely overcome the case of toxicity on plants. So since then, the various types of pesticides have been introduced. For example, insecticide, herbicides, fungicides, and more were used to repel the pest organisms. All of these pesticides are safe to use and essential to our agricultural field. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Iza and my student ID is 122010398686. So I'll be presenting about case study of our assignment. Okay, so first for the introduction. The pesticide was a rodenticide containing aluminum phosphide, which are used to kill insects. Okay, so toxic phosphine gas was occurred after water was poured on the rodenticide and causing the victim lungs to fill with fluids and respiratory failure. Okay, this case study was organized based on the article from CNN that is published on 2017. Okay, the accident happened in Amarillo, Texas on Monday, but on the article they did not state the specific date for the accident. The accident caused 4 fatalities and 5 was hospitalized. So the significance of this case study is to increase the awareness about the danger of pesticides and the adverse effect on the human health. Okay, so the chronology is like this. After someone use the herbicide aluminum phosphide under the mobile home, which mean it is some kind of home but inside something like a truck. Okay, during on the before the accident there were 10 people at the mobile home. So after the pesticide was used, so one of the family members inside the house, they pretend to wash the pesticides because some of them are starting to feeling sick. As a result for their action, it is thus causing the production of hazardous phosphine gas, which led to respiratory failure. Okay, the victim was Yasmin Balderas, 17 years old, and her brothers Johnny, Josue, and Felipe Balderas. They were identified as the fatalities. So another 5 people from the mobile house were hospitalized. So based on our analysis, this is caused by human error, which is stated as the act of watering the ground after applying the pesticides. These have contributed to the deaths of the 4 children. Next is the use of pesticides without reading and understanding the labeling and the marking of the pesticide itself. Okay, what can we learn from this accident? So the first one is ensure to read and understand the safety manual of any type of chemical before using it. So second is it is better for us to seek advice from experts before using any kind of chemical. Last but not least is using alternative pesticide that less hazardous, which include neem oil, diatomaceous earth, Bacillus thuringiensis, pyrethrine, insecticidal soap, and so on. So to conclude all that I've stated so far, it is better to practice the lesson learned that I have mentioned before, in order to avoid any unexpected event or any accident that can cause death. Okay, so that's all from me, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Dmosh, and I will be presenting on theory of exposure. Depending on the pesticide type and its regulated use, the appropriate rates of exposure to pesticides are different. A dermal contact or accidental ingestion or inhalation may result in pesticide exposure. In use of consumer products containing pesticides, direct and indirect dermal contact may occur. Exposure to skin can also occur in the course of occupational activities. If receptors are exposed to pesticides on consumer products while the product is being used, direct exposure may occur, including occupational exposure by mixing, loading, and applying pesticides. Exposure to pesticide residues following application can occur if workers or consumers come into contact with sprayed leaves. For example, during loading or harvesting on surface. If a non-user comes in contact with residue of pesticides on interior surface that have been sprayed with disinfectant or food that exposed with pesticide, there may be indirect exposure. Next exposure is ingestion. The inclusion of pesticide in food products packaging or labeling food could result in contamination of fruits, vegetables, grains, and further foodstuff. In the case of incident ingestion, exposure to pesticide may be present in consumer products, for example, from hand-to-mouth contact. Lastly, the inhalation of particulates, vapor, or aerosols may result in occupational or residential exposure to pesticide products during or after application.
So good morning to Miss. So my name is Felisharina Payajon and my student ID is 122010393. So today I am going to present about my part, which is the impact towards human health and or environment. So to begin with, pesticide can give a lot of impacts towards human health and environment. This is because the pesticides are also known as a chemical compound which is used to do away with insects, rodents, fungi, and weeds. Nonetheless, pesticides are very dangerous to both human health and environment because they are toxic. For instance, they are potentially hazardous to human, animal, organism, and environment at high levels. So first of all, I will present about the impact of pesticide to human health. So for our information, human body can get exposed to the pesticide through directly and indirectly. For example, by using the pesticide to the insects or plants, it can easily will affect will make human come into the direct contact with them and easily cause their affect to the skin, eyes, mouth, respiratory tract, and also cause acute reactions such as headache, irritation, sneezing, and skin rashes. But not only that, the second impact the pesticide to human health is cause a chronic disease such as cancer, necrosis, asthma, kidney disease, reproductive disorder, cardiac, and diabetes. This happens because of the accumulation that increase to the concentration of toxins inside the body organs. So it is generally pesticides are typically excreted from the body through the urinary, biliary, and secretory glands. So this chronic disease can occurs when humans consume a food like vegetable that and fruit that grown in pesticide, contaminated soil, and water used for a long term. So next is pesticide also can give bad impact to human health like cancer, just like I said before. This can be seen among the farmer which is at the age over 50 years old. For example is prostate cancer, which is second the most common cancer that happen among the farmer, which is after the lung cancer that happen to men. It is because the use of chlorinated pesticide and methyl bromide that heavily used among the farmers. So not only that, pesticides are not only impact to the human health but also with environment, which is water, soil, plants, animal, and aquatic life. So as we know, pesticides are toxic chemical which designed purposely released into the environment. In spite if every pesticide meant to kill a certain pest, overuse of it will give bad impact to environment. And not only that, pesticides also easily polluted the air, soil, water when they are leaked or not thrown it properly, and especially when it's spread aerially. So from this point, one of pesticide that can impact to environment is through the water. For instance, is it can be found in rain, groundwater, river, lake, and many more. This can happen by four ways. For pesticide goes into the water like leach through the soil, carried by runoff, spray. This can happen by four ways. For pesticide goes into the water like leach through the soil, carried by runoff, spray outside area where it was sprayed or can be spilled accidentally. Not only that, groundwater one of the significant source of drinking water. So the presence of the pesticide in the water bring worry to everyone because pesticides are types of hazardous chemicals which risk human health and water quality, which is environment. So in addition, pesticides are also affect to the environment such as soil. This is because the use of pesticide around or on the soil, it reduces the general biological diversity in the soil. So this happen because the soil quality is higher and better than the chemicals which is allow for higher water retention that plants need to grow. So therefore, when soil is exposed to pesticide, it affects growth plants such as vegetables and enters the food chain and biomagnification. Last but not least is aquatic life. So when water is contaminated with pesticide, it will be harmful to fish and the other aquatic biota. The use of herbicides on bodies of water can result in the death of plants, decrease oxygen content of the water, and restrict fish. Certain pesticides can alter fish physiology and behavior over time, leading to decreased immunity to disease, increased inability to avoid predators, and nest abandonment, among other behavioral change that reduce population size.
Hello, and my name is Nur Azam. I will continue about the part of conclusion. For the conclusion, the pesticides are useful tools for farmers, but they should be used carefully and responsibly to find a balance between effective pest control and safety for people and the environment. So it is important to use sustainable farming methods along with strict rules, education, and ongoing study in order to make smart choice about the use for pesticides and other options. It is important to stay up to date and on the latest science discovery and progress in this area. It is because it is very important to follow the label's instruction for safety when handling pesticide. For example, the workers can use the wearing waterproof gloves, long pants, and long sleeve shirts. But after using chemical, you should change clothes and wash your hand right away. So that's all for me and my group. Thank you for watching this video.